problem. So it has 7 steps, so it will be worth 7 points. So if you completely bomb the whole thing, you lose 7 points. So these are kind of a big deal, and I know that. I know that they're challenging, okay? So we're just going to help you through it one step at a time. First of all, let's review what we know about angles, okay? If I have a triangle, let's say I have a random triangle. This is angle A, B, and C. And I have absolutely no clue what those angles are, but what do I know about all 3 of them together? Kaiden, what do I know about all 3 of them together?
They add up to 180.
A plus B plus C equals 180. Always period and end of story. They never don't, okay? If I have lines or angles on a straight line, say I have A, B, and C, and I know nothing about them, what do I know about them? They're on a straight line. They're on a straight line. How many degrees is a straight line?
180.
So what does A plus B plus C equal?
180.
180. So A plus B plus C still equals 180. There's a special name for angles on a straight line. Do any of you remember what that special name is? Someone said it. Peyton, was that you? Say it loud.
Oh, no, I made a joke.
Someone, I thought I heard it. Okay. What is the end meal of the day sometimes called?
Supper.
Supper. Sometimes it's called supper. When do most normal people who aren't the Barlows eat supper?
9 o'clock.
No, normal people. 6.
I am normal.
6 o'clock. Normal people eat supper at 6 o'clock. The Barlows usually eat around 7 or 8. That's why I say normal people. Okay. Why in the world am I doing this? What is 6 o'clock in military time? As I give you the answer.
It's like 18.
6 o'clock in military time is 1800 hours. Okay? I am doing this all because supplementary angles add to 180 degrees. So you have supper at 1800 hours. That is how my poor sad brain remembers it. If you can think of a better way for your poor sad brain to remember it, then that is fabulous. But if not, I hope it works for you. Like that's how I remember it. Supplementary. So if it says an angle and its supplement, what does that mean in math language? An angle and its supplement. What does that mean? Because that term happens. ISOT loves that term. We have an Anna. I'm so glad we have an Anna. I'm sad when we don't. But what is an angle? If I have an angle, okay, I'm going to draw an angle. There is an angle. Thank you, sweetie. What would its supplement look like? Its supplement means that together they add to be 180 degrees. Do I know what they are? But I know I have this angle is this angle, and this is its supplement. So if I say an angle and its supplement, add an angle and its supplement, blah, 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 then I know that angle A plus angle B is 180 degrees. Okay. If I have a right triangle, what do I know about one of the angles of that triangle? One of them is 90. So do I need to include that in my math? Not necessarily, because what's 90 plus 90? It's 180. So if we have 90 degrees and we have angle A and angle B, then we know that A plus B equals 90. Or we know that A plus B plus 90 equals 180. Do I care how you set these up? I don't care how you set those up. But if it says that there's a right triangle, just remember that one of those is 90. Okay? I think that's all of them. So we're just going to go through these. These have a lot of steps because you're going to be solving for number one, you got to set this thing up, which we learned on Thursday you guys are still struggling with. And that's okay, because this is challenging stuff and sometimes it takes us more than one time to learn something, all right? So first you have to set it up, then you have to solve for x. But x is not what you're trying to solve for, you're solving for these angles. So you have to substitute it back in and get the angle. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We're gonna do example 1 and example 2 together. And then if you guys don't feel confident after those two, we'll do some that are similar to the ones on the assignment, but I do want you to do, your assignment is not tremendously long. It looks long because I give you a ton of space. You only have to do 4 of these on your own, but they do take some time. So I don't want to kill you, but but I do want you to get the practice on your own. So I won't do any of the 4 for you, but I can do ones that are similar if you're not feeling confident. Okay. So I'm just going to read this, and the first thing I'm going to find out is how many angles am I actually dealing with. Sometimes you're going to be dealing with 3 angles. Sometimes you're going to be dealing with 2 angles. Never ever are you dealing with just 1 angle. Okay. So it says one angle is 5 degrees less than 3 times the degree measure of another angle. So how many angles do I have so far? 2. Together, the angles measures have a sum of 143 degrees. So how many angles do I have total? Still 2. We didn't add any more on there. So I'm going to say angle 1 and angle 2. What do I know about these 2 angles? So I'm going to go back to the beginning of the problem. I'm going to take it word by word, because when it says that one angle is 5 degrees less than 3 times the degree measure of another angle, good heck, guys, that's a lot of words, right? So let's do this one word at a time. So one angle, so this is going to be angle 1. 5 degrees less than. What does that mean in math when it says 5 less than? Am I subtracting? Am I subtracting 5, or is it 5 minus?
Subtracting.
We are subtracting 5. Go, Cora, go. Because it's 5 degrees less than, now I'm going to leave space here because it's 5 degrees less than something. And I'm going to make a parentheses because I'm just anticipating, might I not need these parentheses? I might not, and I might. I haven't really fully digested this problem yet. So I don't know. Let's find out. 3 times the degree measure of another angle. So 3 times, and what am I going to call the degree measure of another angle? X. Did I need these parentheses?
Yes.
No, you don't need parentheses for multiplication. If it was the sum of 3 in another angle, I would have. But is it okay to have parentheses there that you don't need? Stick them everywhere. I don't even care. Okay, the degree measure of another angle. So that's X. So what does that tell us about angle 2? What's its degree measure? It's the other angle that we just called X. So it's just plain old X. Which I'm going to be real with you, I appreciate that it's just plain old X. It isn't always. And it's nice that this one's kind of nice. Okay, do you guys see how I did that? So together, what would together mean? Adding. Okay, the angles measures have a sum of 143 degrees. So I have angle 1, 3x minus 5, plus angle 2, don't know what that is, equals 143 degrees. Right? How many of you guys feel, it's kind of a lot, and I know it's kind of a lot, but if you take it one word at a time, we can do it. Can we solve this? We can solve this. What is my first step in solving this going to be? Braden.
What, subtract or add 5.
There's a better first step than that. Now, if you added 5 to both sides, spat off the bat, would that be wrong? No, but there is a better first step. What is it, Maddie?
Combine the x's.
Let's combine some like terms so we can see what we're really, really working at. Because you could have some constant terms and some x terms, and if you just start adding willy-nilly, you might find yourself doing a lot of adding and a lot of subtracting if you don't have anything combined first. So what is 3x plus x? 4x. 4x minus 5 equals 143. Now, Braden, now what do I want to do?
Add 5.
Add 5 to both sides. Let's get this 4x alone. So 4x equals 148. So how do I figure out what x equals? Divide both sides by 4. And x equals 37. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, am I done? Circle it and move on with my life.
No.
No, I am not done. What do I need to do? What is the question actually asking for? What is it asking for, Landon?
Figure out the measure of each angle.
The measure of each angle. Well, what's angle 2?
37.
Equals 37 degrees. Now, right here, guys, I have a choice. Okay? You can do this the easy way that requires a little bit of thinking, or the hard way that doesn't. Because I could substitute this x everywhere I see an x and do 3 times 37 minus 5. Is that especially hard? No, but it takes some work. Or I could remember that the two angles add to be 143 degrees. Is that less work? But it does require some remembering on my point. So I have 37 plus angle 1 is 143 degrees. Can I figure that out really pretty easily? So I'm going to subtract 37, and I get that angle 1 is what? What's 143 minus 37? 6? 106? Okay, now let's see if we substituted it in up here, if we would get the same result. Do I care which one you do? No. So what's 3 times 37? What is it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So 111 minus 5 is 106. Did they match? That's a good sign when they match. If they match, it means you probably did your work right. So we have angle 1 is 106 degrees. Angle 2 is 37 degrees. So let's pretend that we're having a test, okay? I'm going to give you 1 point for this equation. I'm going to give you 1 point for this equation. I'm going to give you 1 point for adding them together correctly. I'm going to give you 1 point for combining like terms correctly. And I'm going to give you 1 point for adding 5 to both sides correctly. I'm going to give you 1 point for dividing by 4 correctly. I'm going to give you 1 point for substituting up here correctly and 1 point for substituting up here correctly. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points on that one problem. So, but that means the reason I give you 8 points for that one problem is if you make a stupid, dumb little mistake right here. Let's say you do 5 minus 3x right there. Could you do that? But then you do everything else correctly from there on out. You get 7 out of 8 points on this problem, and that's why I do that. If I just mark it yes or no, right or wrong, you make a dumb little small mistake and it's completely wrong and you're going to get a 0 on my test, okay? So make sure you're showing all your work so I can look, oh look, they divided by 5 correctly or divided by 4 correctly, and then you get that point. If you just get the right answer, I just give you 8 points, just so you know, okay? All right, I do have to erase this to do the next one. Are you all okay if I erase it? Did everybody write it down while we were going? Okay. How are we feeling? There's a lot to this. This is like, we are about at the pinnacle of this unit. So I want to make sure you guys are feeling okay. Okay, example 2, given a right triangle. What does that mean? I already know.
1 angle is 90 degrees.
Okay, 1 angle is 90 degrees. So I have angle 1, something. I could say angle 1 is 90. Angle 2, I don't know anything about angle 2. And I don't know anything about angle 3, but I know that one of them is 90 degrees, which is lovely. Super lovely. Okay. Find the degree measure of the angles. Now, on the last problem, I read the whole thing to find out how many angles we were talking about. How many angles are we talking about here? 3, because it's a triangle. So do I need to read the whole thing? Yeah, I don't need to read the whole thing. Okay, it says, one angle is 10 degrees more than. What does that mean in math? Plus 10, something plus 10. So 10 degrees more than something, I don't know what, something. 4 times the degree measure of the other angle. Oh, that's nice. We'll call that x. And the third angle is the right angle. Okay, so this is the degree measure of the other angle. So what are we going to call the other angle? X. Okay, so angle 1, angle 2, angle 3. We already have one of those figured out. I give you 1 point on the test just for knowing that one of those is 90 degrees. Just for being able to read the problem. Okay, how do we want to set this up? Jackson, how do we want to set this up? We know that it's a triangle, and we know that triangles add to 180 degrees. So how would you set this up if you were doing it?
If I was doing this, what do you mean by how would I set it up?
I would have said, I need to be able to solve this thing. We know that all 3 angles add to 180 degrees. But we also know that one of the angles is 90 degrees. So how would you make this problem into an equation so that you can solve it?
90
Okay, 90
plus x
plus x.
plus x
Is it plus x or plus this up here?
plus that up there.
Plus that up there. Plus 4x plus 10 equals how much? Because it's a triangle?
180.
180. So Jackson chose to include the 90 and have it add to 180. You can choose to not include the 90 and have it add to 90. Whatever works best for your brain and whatever helps you remember it, okay? All right, can we do this? What do we want to do first? What is our best first step, Anna? Anna, what's our best first step out of this? Combining like terms. So what's 90 plus 10, Anna?
100.
And what's x plus 4x? So now I'm with this, and now I have a 2-step linear equation, guys, which you guys are super good at solving. Do you see how this got pretty small pretty quickly? Maddie, what do I do next? Subtract 100. And thankfully that math isn't super hard, right? 5x equals 80. And now what do I do? Not last step, almost last step. Tayson, what am I going to do here?
Divided by 5.
Divide by 5. And x equals what? What's 80 divided by 5? 16? 16. So, angle 3 is 16 degrees. Angle 1 is 90 degrees. So, how do we want to figure out angle 2? Do you guys want to substitute in? Or do you want to math that and subtract it from 180? Math it and subtract it from 180? So, 90 plus angle 2 plus 16 equals 180. So Tayson, grab your calculator, you can do that one. Who wants to do it the substituting way? So we have 4 times 16 plus 10 also equals that angle. So what's 90 plus 16, guys? 106. So we have 106 plus A2 equals 180 minus 106 minus 106. And angle 2 is 74 degrees. Let's see if we do the same here. 4 times 16 is 64. 64 plus 10 is also 74 degrees. So that's a good indication that we did it right. Do I care how you do that last step to find that last angle? I really, really don't. You're doing math one way or another. Okay, you guys have been really, really quiet. How do we feel? Do we want me to do one? Appreciate your honesty. I can do one that's similar to the ones on the assignment, but not identical, so you can see it worked through more. Or you can dive in and try the assignment and use that time trying it. What do we think? You want to try it on your own? Okay, I will say I'm not going to jump in and help for 5 minutes because a lot of you guys are not muscling through and you're asking for help too quickly. I'm going to sit over there with the 5-minute timer being quiet so you guys can get in there, all right? And then I'll run around and help people.